All right, let's take a look at the available options we have when it comes to our primary and secondary weapon. Now, just like pretty much any FPS game, we can of course hold to ADS. However, in Ready or Not, we can also cant our sight to the side. Now, this is a setting you will have to actually bind to a key in your settings. Just know that you can actually do that and toggle it back and forth. Now, in regards to your magazine and ammo, a single press of your reload button will do a standard reload. And when you do a normal reload, you'll actually take that magazine and put it back in your vest as long as it still has ammo in it. Now, if you double tap your reload button for a tactical reload, you will reload much faster. However, you will drop the magazine. But the cool thing about this game is you can actually pick up dropped magazines. You just have to walk up to it and interact with it. However, you can only pick these drop magazines back up if there's still ammo inside. What's even cooler though is if you're playing with friends and you happen to have a magazine that shares an ammo type with your primary or secondary, you can actually drop magazines for each other. So let's say your friend runs out of ammo and you're both using the same gun. I'll hit a tactical reload and I'll drop a full mag for them to pick back up. And finally, if you hold down your reload button, this is how you can check your ammo. Now, you're not actually going to have a number that says how much ammo is still in your magazine. You're just going to have to look at this white symbol to get an idea of how full the magazine is. Now, most guns in this game have different firing modes. For example, I can press X to go to full auto, or I can press it again to go back to semi. Of course, whatever bind you set up is going to be the button you're going to need to press, but I believe the default is X. Now let's quickly talk about ammo and ammo types. Now let's say we brought armor piercing rounds and JHP rounds with us. Now if we once again hold down our reload button, not only can we see how full our magazine is, but if you look right above the ammo capacity marker, we can see it says AP or armor piercing. So we know we have a full magazine of armor piercing rounds. But while you're checking your ammo, at the bottom you can also see it's showing you a total of all other magazines in our inventory. So we can see we have a total of 6, 3 armor piercing and 3 JHP. Well, let's say we want to switch from armor piercing to JHP. What we can do is press 1 and we'll swap out ammo types. So now you can see if we check our ammo, we now have a magazine full of JHP rounds in our gun. If we want to go back to armor piercing, we're going to press 1. And if we check our ammo, we once again have armor piercing rounds. And this is going to work the exact same way if you have 2 different ammo types for your secondary as well. And finally, you also do have a melee button. I believe the default is B. This comes in handy as a less lethal option when there is an uncooperative suspect or civilian. Alright, now that we have our loadout selected, let's learn a little bit about the 3 types of grenades in this game. Now, to actually bring out a grenade, you can press 3 on your keyboard or whatever bind you've set on your keyboard or on your controller. It's also important to keep in mind that when you press 3 and hold it, you can see it says scroll. While holding 3, I can use the middle mouse wheel to select between a stinger, a CS gas, or a flashbang. First, we have a flashbang. This is going to work just like any other game. You throw it, it's going to blind the enemies and make a loud bang. Now, you or your teammates can be blinded by these if you're not wearing anti-flash goggles or if you're just not paying attention. So be very careful when you throw your grenades. Next, we have the stinger grenade. Now, similar to a flashbang, this is going to make a loud banging sound, but it's going to shoot out dozens of rubber pellets, and if they hit a civilian or a suspect, more often than not, this will cause them to comply. Stinger grenades are really great for clearing large open areas because the pellets go out in a very wide area. But keep in mind, just like a flashbang, if you get hit or your teammates get hit by any of these pellets, you will also become disoriented. And finally, we have CS gas grenades. And as it sounds, it's a gas grenade, so when you throw it, after a short delay, it will start to emit some CS gas. As you can see, it does fill up the room pretty good, so you're going to want to bring a gas mask with you, otherwise you're going to become disoriented. After a brief delay, the gas will dissipate and you'll be able to see again. What's important to also remember is once you pull the pin and you're ready to throw it, you can't put it away. That grenade is not going back in my inventory. I am gonna throw it no matter what happens, whether it was an accident or not. So just be mindful that you can't put your grenade away. If you accidentally took it out and activated it, well, you're throwing it. Now, on the note of throwing grenades, as you can see, once you activate or pull the pin of a grenade, you don't have a crosshair. So how the heck do you even aim with your grenades? Well, use your left hand. You can see how my player model is kind of making a C shape with his left hand. We'll go ahead and put your target right in the middle of that C. Well, let's say I want to throw this stinger grenade into that open doorway. I'm going to use my pointer finger and my thumb, allow for a little bit of gravity and a little bit of drop off, and I'm going to aim right around there and throw. Look at that, right into the doorway. So it does take a little practice to get used to that and get used to the aim and the drop of the grenade, but once you get really good with that, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier when it comes to throwing tactical grenades. And finally, when it comes to tactical grenades, there is a quick throw option. I believe the default is G, so as you're moving around, just press G. You'll take a grenade out, instantly throw it, and bring your gun right back up. Now that we have a better understanding of the tactical grenades, let's get an idea of the tactical equipment. Now, the first tactical equipment we have is the lockpick gun. Now, this is going to help us open doors faster compared to our normal multi-tool. So the lockpick gun looks like this, and our multi-tool looks like this. Now, they both are going to open doors in the same fashion, where if you walk up to a door that's locked and look at the lock, you'll unlock it. However, the lockpick gun just does it much more efficiently and quicker. Now, the main benefit of lockpicking a door is it allows for silent entry. Suspects or civilians will usually not hear you unlock a door, which then will allow you to silently breach. But that's not always as fun. So let's say you want to just breach the door the old-fashioned way with some breaching charges. You can bring out a breaching charge and you can actually apply it right to the door itself. As soon as you put the C2 down, you'll take out the detonator, and as soon as you activate it, you'll never see that door again. Now, of course, everybody in the immediate room and nearby rooms is going to hear that, but it sure is a fun way to quickly get into a room and clear it. And if there are any suspects or civilians in the immediate area on the other side of the door that you blasted, more often than not, they can also become disoriented. But keep in mind, if a suspect or a civilian are directly behind the door, they can be seriously or fatally injured. So you do have to be a little bit careful when it comes to breaching, because you definitely don't want to hurt or kill any civilians. Our next piece of tactical equipment is our wedge. This is going to go on the bottom of any door. We can look down at the bottom and deploy a wedge, and this is going to lock this door. The only way this door will now ever be able to be opened is if we remove the wedge or use a breaching charge and blow open the door. This is really helpful, especially on bigger maps, or just depending on your strategy. This will stop you from being flanked, or if you think a suspect or a civilian are going to try and run away, this is going to completely box them in. Now, to remove a wedge, just walk up to it, crouch down, equip your multi-tool, and remove your wedge. The wedge might be one of my favorite tools in this game because it really gives you that peace of mind that not only are any suspects or civilians not going to run away, you're also taking away the chance that a suspect is going to try and flank you. So I highly recommend you or a couple teammates always having a wedge. We also have two less lethal items, the pepper spray and the taser. With the pepper spray, we can take it out, aim it, and deploy it. And more often than not, after a brief delay, the suspect or the civilian will comply. Now, in a similar fashion to the pepper spray, we also have the taser, and you already know how a taser works. You pull it out, you shoot it, you give the suspect or a civilian a nice shock, police, get down! Yell at them for compliance, and more often than not, they'll comply. And finally, we have our mirror gun. This is probably one of the most important tools in this game because it allows you to look under any door and get a pretty good idea if there's any suspects or civilians or traps on the other side of the door. To use the mirror gun, all you need to do is go crouch in front of a door, activate it, and now you can freely look around. The most important thing when you're using a mirror gun is always look down, immediately up and down on the left and up and down on the right. And you're checking the bottoms of each door frame to make sure there's no tripwire or traps. Again, for that tactical experience, use this picture-in-picture mode. The screen's more pixelated. It's a little harder to see, but it is much more realistic. But if you want to make your life easier, head into your options, head over to graphics, scroll down to OptiWand, and just make it full screen. And that way, you can see so much easier and so much more, and it's much easier to use the tool. Now, aside from the mirror gun, we also do have that tactical shield, that battering ram, that breaching shotgun, and those grenade launchers that will launch flash, gas, or stinger grenades. The exact same ones we just went over. So let's take a look at the tactical shield. Now, when you take your tactical shield out, it will instantly come up into this protected position. And when you ADS, you'll bring out your pistol, and now you'll be able to move around protected and still be able to shoot. Now, of course, aiming is a little awkward, so that's where using a tactical flashlight or a laser on your secondary can at least kind of give you a little bit of an idea of where you're going to be aiming, but you still won't be as accurate as if you just had your pistol out using it with two hands. Now, taking a look at the battering ram. The battering ram is going to be a great alternative to a C2 charge because this is going to be the quickest way to get through a locked door. Faster than lock picking, faster than breaching. Take out that battering ram, walk up to it, and just beat down the door. Now, as you can see, using the battering ram on a wooden door is going to make a giant hole. And yes, wooden doors are destructible. And that's also something to keep in mind. As you can see the hole that made, you can also see the damage done just by shooting a wooden door. That's important to keep in mind because as you just made this giant hole in this door, let's say there was a suspect in this corner, well, now they can just easily shoot you through this door. Maybe your team's stacked up over here ready to enter, and you just put a big hole in the door, well, now they might just shoot you right here. Now, on a metal door, works the same exact way, but you're not going to put a giant hole in the middle, and metal doors don't have the same destructibility. Now, another option is the breaching shotgun. Now, with the breaching shotgun, you're going to walk up to the door, blast off the lock, and in you go. Now, aside from breaching doors, the breaching shotgun is also... And finally, we have our 3 different grenade launchers. Now, let's just go over the flash one because they essentially all do the same thing, minus the different grenade that it's equipped with. Now, the biggest benefit of bringing a grenade launcher is not only the increased range that the launcher can actually send out the grenade, compared to throwing a grenade, watch how fast it's going to detonate. It's almost instantaneous. And finally, our last piece of tactical equipment is our tactical foot. That's right, if all else fails, you can walk up to a door, give it a big fat kick, and in you go. One note on kicking doors is if you have a broken leg from getting shot, you won't actually be able to kick open a door. Now, if a door is unlocked, you'll be able to do it in one kick, but if a door is locked, it might take between 1 and 4 kicks to finally open up that door. And speaking of doors, there's actually 2 different ways you can interact with doors. The first, look at it and interact with it, and it'll completely open. Your other option is you can look down at the door handle and you can peek the door. This is going to be very useful if you ever see a tripwire or a trap that you need to defuse. You definitely don't want to open the door all the way, so you can just use this peek method. Let's say we used our mirror gun and saw that there was a trap. We could peek the door, crouch down, and then we could quickly defuse the trap, close the door, and then breach however we wanted to. All right, now we have a better understanding of our tactical equipment, our loadouts, and how we can interact with all of those different things. Let's take a look at what we can do as a player in regards to movement. All right, now for player movement, the binds that you set on your keyboard or your controller, of course, are going to be preference, but one of the most useful pieces of player movement are going to be the toggle lean right and the toggle lean left. Just like many other games, this comes into handy when you're peeking around corners or trying to clear certain rooms. Those of you that are Rainbow Six Siege players or Tarkov players, you guys are already familiar with the whole leaning left and leaning right mechanic, and it's really no different in Ready or Not. It works the exact same way. It's a lean left and it's a lean right. Now you are able to crouch in this game, but you're not able to prone. So you're either going to be standing up or you're going to be crouched, but you can't go prone. Now, if you are crouched, you will have a little bit of a movement speed decrease. You move much slower crouched than you do standing completely up. And remember, your movement speed when standing up is also dependent on the type of armor you're wearing, whether that's no armor, a stab vest, a light armor, or heavy armor, and the type of plates that you're bringing. If it's Kevlar, steel, or ceramic, those also play a factor in movement speed. Now, regardless of your armor, if you're walking while leaned in one direction, you will also be going slower than normal. It becomes even worse if you're leaned and crouched as well. It's also important to note there's no run in this game, so this is pretty much max speed unless you take advantage of that toggle low ready setting we talked about earlier in the settings. So here's my movement speed with my gun up in the ready position and just walking normal, and as soon as I drop it to low ready, you get a very small increase in movement speed. And this really does come in handy in a lot of different levels, or if you just need to move between cover as quick as possible. So definitely don't forget you have that toggle low ready position and take advantage of it when you need to quickly move around. If for some reason you're moving around a map and you just feel like you're going extra slow, you may be leaned without even realizing it, or you might be crouched without realizing it. So if you ever feel like you're going extra slow, double check your stance, double check your lean position, and that should make sure you're moving as quick as possible. Finally, keep in mind if you get too close to a surface such as a wall or a door, you will automatically bring your gun up and not be able to ADS or shoot until you're far enough back where your gun actually has room to deploy.